What's good? I got a little time before my appointment, and so I wanted to get this video out. Yesterday I had a flurry of creative insights for videos I wanted to make, and there's this expression, strike while the iron is hot. So I'm doing that. Today, this subject, why high trust societies are superior. And to me, that's self-evident. That's axiomatic, you could say. And I think most people would agree with that. And I don't even think most people would argue for a low trust society, but I think a lot of people are not aware of how low trust our society is and the implications of that. I just want to share this one anecdote. I do a plethora of things to make money. I do like day labor, I do deliveries. Occasionally I'll get like a W-2 job here and there. And I also dog sit privately and through an app called Rover. Private dog sitting is way better for a lot of reasons. Let me detail. Last year I sat for a couple who have two dogs, who these dogs are very needy in the sense that if I'm gone for more than 2 hours, they get very anxious. And the clients preferred that I not be gone for more than 2 hours. And this was my first time sitting for them, so I didn't know all the details. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. They ended up living like 30 minutes away from my delivery zone. And so if I wanted to try to do deliveries while also dog sitting, because dog sitting itself doesn't pay enough, but it pays, right? I had to drive 30 minutes to get to the zone and then only deliver for an hour, maybe two, if I was pushing it, before I had to go back and check on the dogs. So when you account for gas and time and whether or not you're actually going to get an order, it just was not working for me. So I didn't try to do too many deliveries. I did the dog sitting stay, and the clients really liked me. They commented when they got back. They're like, wow, our dogs normally are like go crazy when we get back because, they're so anxious because they missed me. And I was like, oh yeah, well, I love dogs. And so I spent time with them. Literally, pretty much all I did was just smoke joints on their back. They had a beautiful house. Oh my gosh. Beautiful house on a little bit of land. I didn't ask, maybe, I try not to poke, but like clearly they had money. Beautiful house. So I smoked a lot of joints, hang out on their back porch with the dogs, and we just like hung out. It was awesome. And I like dogs. So they knew that. They could sense that. They're like, okay, this guy's cool. He likes me. He takes care of me. I gave him treats. I played with him. I'm a great dog sitter. Let me get to the rest of the story. I'm sorry. Had that experience. The total was like $780 that Rover advertised that I'd make. But they don't advertise how much of a cut they're going to take until you like accept the booking or whatever. And so I didn't think about it when I accepted the booking. But then after the booking was done and I got paid out, I was like, holy fuck. Rover took like 20 to 25% of that. So that 780 dropped to like 6 something. And I was like fucking bummed because it was like 9 or 10 days, of 9 or 10 days of work and not being able to do delivery work on top of that. And then also having to take out another $200 for taxes. That was like $400 I made for 9 or 10 days of work. Insane. So anyways, I told the couple, we exchanged personal phone numbers, and I said, some people after the first visit like to go private, and we can work out our own terms and whatnot. And then some people just, continue to book through the app. I was still very new to Rover at this time, and so I didn't push the private business too much, but I should have, because they reached out again with a booking request over Easter weekend for like 4 or 5 days. And the Rover total, I think, was like $500 that they were advertising I'd get paid. That's before their cut. And I just responded to them. I said, I was dismayed after our last booking at how much Rover took out in addition to taxes. I think I net maybe 50% of what Rover advertised and of what you paid. And because you live so far away and the dogs are so needy, I can't do delivery work when I'm sitting for them. So it just doesn't make sense for me to sit for you, especially through Rover. And I didn't even throw out like a cash offer because I just don't want to deal with it, right? My cash offer, it would have been like $1,000, and they're not going to want to pay $1,000 over, it's a holiday weekend. I provide a premium service. Inflation is killing it. And I can't multitask. I can't, go make other money to supplement the fact that dog sitting doesn't pay a lot. And what came to my mind is like, why are they going through the app? They actually had tried to book me previously when I was busy. So they had another sitter lined up, and then that sitter fell through, and they tried to book me last minute for a different booking. So this was their third attempt to book. Only one of them, the first one I did. But I was a little miffed that they tried to go through someone else and then tried to put me on last minute. They also didn't tip. They didn't tip for a premium service where they complimented how well I did. They didn't even tip. Anyways. But all I could think about was the fact that and I'm projecting, so maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like they didn't trust me enough to make this a private cash transaction where everybody benefits. Rover got their cut for sort of the finder's fee. And I kind of assume that's why their cut is so high, because they know that they're more or less just playing like a finder's fee service, or they're just, yeah. But also another service they provide is trust mitigation or trust arbitration. Because our society is such a low trust society, people do not feel comfortable putting trust in individuals, so they put their trust in a corporation that acts as an arbiter just in case something goes awry, blah, 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 whatever. And so that trust mediation extracts value from what could and should be a just simple one-person, two-person exchange services and monies. But because we live in a low trust society, these sorts of apps like Rover, they thrive. And Rover is not the only one. Anytime that there's like a middle third party that doesn't do much more beyond acting as sort of a lead generator, that's essentially what it is, the lead generation for clients and for sitters. And it's not uncommon that if somebody, helps you, connects you with a job or a lead or a successful sale, a finder's fee is not uncommon, but 25% seems a little steep to me. I don't know. On top of the fact that I have to pay taxes and the company has to pay taxes, it's part of this whole society. I talk all the time about how things are just so broken, and this is just another example. I am a capitalist, right? So I'm not saying Rover shouldn't exist. I'm not saying Airbnb shouldn't exist, but like Airbnb is another good example. No, I don't want to get into that. Hold on. Quickly go into it. As the cost of living continues to skyrocket, and as the cost of like bureaucracy and administration and regulation continues to rise, more and more people are priced out due to inorganic circumstances of the home ownership club. And as a result of that, they have to seek rentals that are often more expensive than it would be to get a mortgage. And again, who wins? The only people that win in these scenarios are the elites, the people at the very top who own all the property. And I know I sound like a communist, and I'm not. Like, I understand communist gripes about the consolidation of property and resources. I understand that concern, but what you all don't understand is the state enables that consolidation. It encourages it for them and their friends. Decentralization, deregulation enables competition. It drives prices down. Okay, I'm going to end the video there. But high trust societies are superior. Thank you for listening.